experience at Lamar Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good, and we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you. It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Oh boy, here we go again. Yeah, you, right? Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Are you kidding me? A Good Friday. For you Catholics, you Christians out there, happy Easter weekend. And of course, Mr. Drew Brees with the intro. Yep. It is indeed New Orleans, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. 2 big hours in front of you on this Friday afternoon. Creeping into the mid-80s today. Yucky. What is it, 83, 84 degrees right now? Let me get an official temp for you. It's not bad. It's 84 degrees, but very sunny. Looks like we've got a nice weekend. Some cloud cover rolling in, which will be nice for the Crescent City Classic tomorrow morning. But no chance of rain, it appears, both tomorrow or Sunday. Waking up to around 70 and will creep up into the low 80s, but cloud cover, not sunny. So maybe that'll mean a little more breeze, and without the sun pounding on you, maybe feels a little cooler, huh? Some good news, at least right now. You know, as we get closer we get more accurate. And I'm talking about the meteorologists with the weather. We had like rain going into like Thursday and Friday of next week, which is a major no-no. We got the first round and the second round of the Zurich Classic on the West Bank Thursday and Friday of this coming week, next week. And we've got Jazz Fest weekend number 1. Days 1 and 2 on Thursday and Friday of next week. So the good news right now, you go to like weather.com, whatever, rain on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday expected. Now Thursday and Friday have cleared up. Originally it was Thursday, Friday rain. Then I think Thursday cleared up and Friday was rain, and now Friday's off and Thursday was supposed to rain. Now it's just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So look, the Zurich Classic, the Pro-Am, the events on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where fans get to interact with the pros. No, I want that to be sunny, great weather. But if it's got to rain sometime, I'd rather it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday than during the tournament. Postpone, rain delay, all that crap, shortening the tournament, stretching it into Monday, whatever. That's just terrible. And then Jazz Fest, folks that have been waiting their whole lives to play, and their slot gets canceled because the fest isn't opening till 2 because it's raining in the morning or something. That sucks. So I don't want to say some great news, but it is great news for what we know, and it could change in the next few days. But like I said, the closer we get, the better. Right now, rain scheduled, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are forecasted, predicted for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. About a 50% chance each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But no rain Thursday and Friday, or Saturday or Sunday of next week. And that's important with Zurich Classic and Jazz Fest weekend number 1. Plus this Thursday, Friday and Saturday, the NFL draft. I think they're doing it from Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm not going to say I'm taking credit for this. I'm just going to tell you how this went down. I used to do a Saturday sports talk program, and this is probably 15 years ago. Like 15 years ago. It's like 10 a.m. to noon on a Saturday from like a bar somewhere. In the quarter or somewhere where they would pay for us to go down there and do that morning show. So anyway, we're doing the show one morning, and I was just talking about, the NFL draft, and it's always in New York. And the NFL should consider, going somewhere else, and New Orleans would be a great city for the draft. And I mentioned this. It's rarely used as far as like for us. It's used for conventions, but I think it's a gate I at the convention center. They have a world-class, state-of-the-art, I think it's about a 3,000-seat auditorium with, audio and video that's state-of-the-art. And I was like, that would be a great spot for the NFL draft in that auditorium. And you have a Mardi Gras parade with, 32 floats, one for every team. And the team could put present day players and coaches and, retired players, Hall of Fame players, all of that on the float. Make it, huge, make the NFL draft giant. New Orleans would embrace it. I was like, New York doesn't care if it's there or not. It's just another thing in New York, and they probably have 10 things like it going on in Metro New York that weekend. Like 10 things like it. A wine festival, the book thing, it's New York. It's 20 million people in the Metro. So New York doesn't care if it's there or not. So I'm pushing this idea. Arnie Filko was then like city council president. He loved the idea. Love the idea of getting, Mardi Gras World involved in the floats and, having it at the convention center and the parade and bringing the draft to New Orleans because we're just such a great event city, and we would elevate the draft to another level. Fans from other cities would want to come to New Orleans even more than New York and check out the draft, that kind of thing. Doesn't have to be permanent, but let's do it at least once, and maybe they'll start rotating it around. Arnie Filko got with Jay Cicero of the Sports Foundation. They put a proposal together like a letter and sent it to the NFL offices. New Orleans wants to host the NFL draft. This is probably 15 years ago. About 5 years later, the NFL started putting the NFL draft in other cities. And I believe it's in Green Bay. The NFL was probably thinking about it a long time ago. That they may have just said, New Orleans has the idea we've always been thinking about. They may have been like, what a great idea. That may have been momentum to get it done. Anyway, it got done, but it ain't in here. It ain't here in New Orleans. I'd like the draft here, just economic, boost. A lot of NFL people coming down, tens of millions of dollars spent. People in the city making a little cash, especially the service industry folks. They need it. Bartenders, hotel people, music clubs, restaurants. Are you kidding? Hey, the 4 o'clock hour this afternoon, appropriately, it's 84 degrees. Brought to you by Total Maintenance. If you ever need air conditioning or heat help in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, think Total Maintenance. It's Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys, incapable of screwing you around. They're air conditioning experts. They're going to diagnose it the first time. They're not swapping out parts hoping they get it fixed. And they come immediately. Lucas and his crew have a sense of urgency. They realize that you're stressed out, you're bummed out, your air conditioning's not working right, or worse, it's not working at all. Chances are you're not going to have an air conditioning problem, but somebody out there watching or listening will have an air conditioning problem. Here's the great part about Total Maintenance. I say this all the time. Weekday, weekend, overnight, holiday. It's interesting that it's Easter Sunday, because about a decade ago, and it was warm, on Easter Sunday, my air conditioning went out on a Sunday. Total Maintenance came out, got it going. Yeah, and it was an Easter Sunday. They got it going again. They'll take care of you weekday, weekend, overnight, holiday, like Easter Sunday. No problem. If you ever have air conditioning problems, not working right, or worse, not working at all, in New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, think Total Maintenance. TM-AC.com. TM-AC.com. Total Maintenance, the air conditioning pros for 40 years in South Louisiana. Happy Good Friday. Happy Easter weekend. Yeah, Crescent City Classics tomorrow. Yesterday I had Eric Stewart on, the guy that runs the Crescent City Classic. They're expecting a record crowd. If you haven't signed up, you better do it. Go to their website, Google it, and go to their website, because I think they're capped at 18,000 runners and walkers this year. And a lot of people are going to be out there. They will sell out. The LCMC Crescent City Classic, starting at the Dome. What a great route. Start at the Dome, go into the French Quarter, down Esplanade, City Park, and by Noma, by the museum. Then they have a big festival right there. You're in the race, you're in the festival. You want to go to the festival? You just pay for a little band at the gate and go on in and enjoy the party, all the food and festivities after the Classic. Yeah, Crescent City Classic, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, starting at the Dome. I believe you can register at the Hyatt Regency right now, at the ballroom at the Hyatt right now, till like 7 o'clock. So if you're downtown in the CBD, anywhere around the Hyatt, go register at the Hyatt Regency ballroom right now. Speaking of the Classic in sports, Fridays with Fletch. Yeah, we'll probably find out if you had anything good to eat this week. Fletcher's always running around to good restaurants in New Orleans. And we'll also find out about the Classic, NBA playoffs, the NFL draft, Zurich Classic. Lots of sports stuff coming up. Fridays with Fletch. Next, Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday. Don't move.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 airy locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Oh boy, sitting in the green room online looking up stuff for the program, and I get distracted. I'm like, oh yeah, I have a show to do. Fletcher Mackel joins us Fridays with Fletch. What up, Fletch?
Not a lot, Corey. What's up? Beautiful day.
It is isn't it an incredible weather day, man? I hope this stretches into next week.
You're right. Next Thursday and Friday with the Zurich Classic and Jazz Fest. We need what we had yesterday, what we have today. We need this weather next week, 100%.
No, we really do. Thursday through Sunday of next week, we need it high and dry, ideally comfortable, nothing too far into the 80s, ideally in the 70s. Just what Fletcher said. We got 4 rounds of Zurich Classic, the annual PGA Tour stop. They've been coming here since like the 30s. And you've got the Jazz Fest, which is a huge economic impact for the city. We want everybody to be down there at 11 a.m., no delays, everything going smooth. You get you get beat up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You got Zurich Classic. You're out there. And then you got NFL Draft. And you got to kind of stay on top of both. I know you guys split the team up. Someone's at Saints Camp, someone's on the West Bank. But Fletch, you cover it all. So that's a pretty tough 3 days stretch for you right there.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a great 3-day stretch. Like, I'm one of these people who relishes these kind of opportunities. Like, when the Super Bowl was here, I was in every day at my TV station at 9:30 and wasn't leaving till 11 o'clock every night. But it's okay, I'm going to Radio Row, and we're going to press conferences, and we're going to different events. And so it's a similar kind of deal as, it's going to be golf in the morning, Saints Draft at night. But, I mean, I'm still one of these people that gets excited and amped up for it, so it's going to be great.
Now, and you're missing NBA playoffs, too. You'll be keeping up on that?
Well, we'll be covering Joe Dumars on Tuesday, being introduced as the Pelicans leader. Look, I'll say this. Outside of my bubble, like, I love the NBA. I mean, I tell people that all the time. I love the NBA. But right now, in our little world, the Pelicans, sadly, are certainly not part of the playoffs. Maybe Joe Dumars can turn them around. But I'll be in my Saints Draft, NFL Draft, Zurich Classic bubble from like Wednesday on.
Fletch, real quick, just for the fan that maybe doesn't follow the NBA all year, all the teams, and especially this year, the Pels have disinterested a lot of Pels fans that would have been following the other teams by default. Give me, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 teams, 4 teams that are something to watch, this NBA playoff. I mean, the Lakers seem to just jump out. They were a team that you would almost avoid watching about 2-3 months ago, and now they're a team that you want to watch and maybe could win it all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, look, what the Lakers have done, Dallas, if Nico Harrison, and I know it's cavalier to talk about people being fired. Nico Harrison is the Dallas Mavericks general manager. If he's not fired after this year, I mean, it's truly sports management malpractice. Trading Luka Doncic, Luka and LeBron are must-see TV. The star power is off the charts. I still think the team in the West is Oklahoma City. They're so much better than everybody else this year. Even, look, they don't have that one superstar. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a star, but he's not the household name superstar. But people don't understand how good Oklahoma City is. What Sam Presti, their general manager, has built, they are awesome. Great coach, great program, great player development, great young players. They're awesome. But here's the problem. They haven't done anything yet because they're so young. So until they do it, I think people are still going to look at teams like the Lakers or Denver making a run because they've been there, done that with their guys before. So you look at it and you say, like, the Clippers have veteran players and a really great coach. They could make a run. So Oklahoma City is the best team in the West, but because they haven't been to a conference finals or an NBA finals yet, people are going to overlook them until they do it. And yes, the Lakers, the way they're playing, the way LeBron still plays, as great as Luka is, they are a formidable team to make it to the Western Conference Finals and maybe the NBA Finals.
Luka seems to have elevated LeBron's game, and it can be just his presence on the court and how he plays and how he understands the game like LeBron does. But I just think LeBron he's got like youth in his step all of a sudden. He's excited.
Yeah. I mean, look, LeBron, he's a freak of nature.
He's like 41, right?
Years old, the way he plays defensively, offensively, and having someone like Luka, look, that's what they thought Anthony Davis was going to be. And look, they won the bubble championship, which was kind of an odd year. But since then, Anthony Davis has been really great, but he's never been able to truly kind of take all the pressure off of LeBron and give him a breather. And Kyrie was able to do that in Cleveland. There were nights Kyrie or Love could be the star, so to say, even in the playoffs, and LeBron didn't have to carry everybody to the finish line. That's what Luka gives the Lakers. Luka is just as good, potentially even better than LeBron. And so, yes, LeBron doesn't have to be everything to everyone on every, aspect of the floor.
Hey, you mentioned the Pelicans. They fired David Griffin, the GM, after 6 seasons. They bring in Joe Dumars. I think Jim Finks, the old Saints general manager, would say long in the tooth. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Fletch. He was in the NBA office the last few years. There weren't any teams banging on his door to be general manager. I know he's a Louisiana guy, and it's a nice fit, and the organization knows him and they like him. But are you bringing in a guy that is sort of long in the tooth and doesn't understand today's NBA players, today's NBA games, and what you need to do to win a championship? The Oklahoma City model, hire their number 2 under the, Presti, hire their second guy.
Let me say this. There's a school of thought to both. Is in 2019, after the Bensons and the Pelicans decided no more Dell Demps, we're trading Anthony Davis, David Griffin was the superstar. He's smart. He's well liked in league circles. He's looked at as a guy who was on the forefront in Arizona and in Cleveland, and they won a championship in Cleveland. He was the big money, got to go big to get him, and it was okay. This is a great move, and I love David Griffin. I really do. We talked this week after he got let go, but it didn't work out. So I don't know if there's a right way. A lot of people are kind of like, you do the search, you go get the young guy. Well, they did that. They did a massive search. They found the best executive, a guy who was young, who had also been there, done that, who's on the cutting edge of performance in healthcare, as far as player healthcare goes. And none of it worked. So sometimes you revert, you do the 180 and get somebody that you know and trust. And yes, Joe Dumars is an old school guy, played for those Bad Boys Pistons teams. His team that won a championship in 03-04 in Detroit was an old school throwback team with Larry Brown and Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace and all those guys. Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton. And so, again, has the game passed him by? I don't know. He hasn't overseen a team in 11 years. We're going to see what moves he makes and what kind of team he puts in place. I can tell you this right now. Joe Dumars is beloved in league circles. Everybody respects him. Everybody likes him. Everybody knows him. Does that mean he's going to make the right moves that put this franchise on the winning track? I don't know, but nobody can tell you with accuracy this was a great hire or this was a terrible hire. You can make an argument either way, that the game has passed them by and they need a young, bright mind, that they just did that and it didn't work out. Or you can say, you know what? We're going with the old head, the seasoned veteran who's been away from the game or away from the day-to-day operations of a team, but we know he knows the league and we know he's done it before. And we'll see in a year or two what happens.
You get any vibe on or off the record from this guy earlier in the week that Zion's on the team and they're going to build around him, or Zion, looking to trade him?
I get the vibe that Zion is on his way out.
Wow.
I would never say never, but I think it's about a 70-30. Joe Dumars is going to punt Zion, and they're going to move in a different direction. That I think the ownership and the senior leadership has just had enough of the soap opera and only playing 30 of 82 games on average every year. Everybody knows what he can be, but unfortunately, he's not that consistently. So I get the feeling that, again, 70-30, he's gone.
Hey, I'm glad you're saying that, and I hope that's true. And I have nothing against Zion, just like you, but it's like David Griffin. He's been around since 2019. Didn't get it done. Like you said, hope he goes somewhere else. I'm not one of these folks that hope he fails somewhere else. Hope he goes somewhere else and is an all-star for 10 years. That's not going to make me bum out like the Pelicans should have kept him. It's been 6 years. Time to all that stock's done is drop. It's time to get rid of that stock and buy something else on the stock market that can rise. Time to abandon that beloved stock. Hey, Fletch, hoping you can stick around one more segment to talk draft, Zurich Classic, Crescent City Classic, or are you stuck on time today?
Then I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Excellent. Fletcher Mackel's with us, WDSU Channel 6 Sports. Yeah, the NFL draft is this Thursday. Round 1 of the Zurich Classic here in New Orleans this Thursday. The Masters champ, Rory McIlroy and Lowry, defending their team title their Zurich Classic win from last year. That should be interesting. Yeah, and the Crescent City Classics tomorrow morning. Fletcher Mackel has run in this thing for years and years. Sometimes he hadn't run for a while and will just jump in there and do the damn thing. It's pretty impressive. We'll see if he's doing it again tomorrow morning. Stick around.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters, and you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home, and right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Yeah, you're right. We do it every single weekday, 4 to 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Every day it's brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex, home of the big store, Lamarck Ford, for over 45 years, home of Lamarck Lincoln, #1 Lincoln dealership in the state. And if you happen to own a business and you need a commercial van, truck, or SUV, Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Parks got you set up. Ronnie and Ronnie Jr., bridging the gap. The Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, and across the parish on Jefferson Highway in Elmwood, Lamarck Crescent City Ford, your commercial truck, van, SUV dealership. Every day the program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood. Fantasy Friday edition of the program, Fridays with Fletch. That's Fletcher Mackel, Channel 6 sports director, anchor, blogger, reporter, all kind of stuff. He used to do weather 30 years ago or so, 25 plus years ago in Alexandria. Could you imagine that? Fletcher doing weather. We've got to find the tapes.
It was awful. I thank God we don't live in the world we lived in back then. We live in today that we lived in back then, because some of those clips may have gone viral and my career may have been over. I was so bad.
Oh boy. All right, what's happening Thursday, Fletch? You still sticking with the quarterback gimmick?
I'm all in on Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, number 9 to the New Orleans Saints. I think even before this Derek Carr fiasco and him turning into the pariah he has turned into, I think the Saints were going quarterback anyway. Early, either at 9, trading back in to the first round, or even at 40, which is still a really high value pick early in the second round. I think they were going to get their future at quarterback. All along, and I've said this on your show, I felt like they know the NFC South sucks. They know the NFC South is terrible in a winnable division. And so they want to win this year. Derek Carr, 2 years ago when he was healthy, they went 9-8. They were right there. So I think they wanted, with all these veteran players, Cam George, Mario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, all of them, they wanted to win this year, have the future quarterback in place, and then in 26, let that quarterback come into an infrastructure that is great. So I think they were always taking a quarterback, but now are they going to go find another veteran, or are they just going to play the young quarterback if they draft one, which I think they're going to draft one. So yes, Jackson Dart is my guy, but if when the draft ends, it's Tyler Shuck or Shedeur Sanders or Jalen Milroe or Quinn Ewers, I'm perfectly fine with any of them.
Fletcher Mackel's with us. I never wanted to say this on the air about you, Fletch, but folks just heard you coughing. I don't know if you folks know this. Fletcher smokes non-filtered Camels, like 2 packs a day. 2 packs non-filtered Camels.
Yes, that is not true. This isn't like 1950s. What is it? Good night and good luck. Like that's on Broadway right now with George Clooney. Like the news anchor smoking. You remember they filmed JFK here, and was it Walter Cronkite? I remember like the sad, tragic news report of like 1963, like President Kennedy is dead, and he's smoking on live network television, and then like the Len Dawson picture at halftime of, I think it was here, like Super Bowl 3 or 4 with Kansas City.
That's the greatest.
And he's drinking a soda,
a Fresca in a green bottle. And he's smoking a cigarette. I love the picture. Someone's like smoking a heater with a Fresca. I was going to say, all of that's like, hey, Fletch, I love Tony Soprano. It's like, dude, he's a mobster and he kills people. It's like, we don't love cigarettes, but there's a cool factor to that. Like, I don't want anybody to go smoke, and Fletcher doesn't smoke non-filtered Camels. But the Lenny Dawson photo is great. I love the Jimmy Leland palm in the cigarette when he was the Pirates manager, like sneaking, like the MLB, like I don't think they made it, a rule where you couldn't smoke, but they're like, they do not want you smoking. We don't want to see that on TV. And Leland sneaking the smoke in the dugout. I mean, that stuff's gold, man.
Yeah.
Old school sports, like you said. Old school.
It wasn't that long ago. That's the crazy thing.
No, exactly. No, I mean, we didn't know. And even when we started knowing, that crap's addictive as hell anyway. I smoked for about I remember like at LSU, we'd go out and I'd bum a smoke off someone. And then finally one of my smoking buddies like, go buy your own pack, dude. And then I went and bought a pack of cigarettes. And I think I smelled my hand and it smelled like smoke. And I was like, I don't want to be that. And then I never smoked again, Fletch.
There you go. I like it.
Did you ever smoke cigarettes ever? You were busy pitching. You didn't have time for. You might have dipped, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into my past habits, but I may have gone from the chewing tobacco to the more traditional nicotine route. But I haven't smoked in a long time.
All right, Fletch. There may not be any proof of you doing weather, but we do have some audio from you pitching from Loyola. Let's go to it. Oh, there he is spitting. It's spitting audio. You're spitting dip, Fletch. We got you. Busted. All right, so quarterback in the first round with the 9th overall selection. What other? I mean, you don't have to give me players. I don't need all that mock draft crap. But what other positions of need do you expect the Saints to grab with some early selections?
I certainly think they could address. Look, this is the thing about the Saints. The Saints don't have any right now great young players. Some may develop. Look, Kool-Aid McKinstry may become a great cornerback. Shaheed and Olave may still become great wide receivers.
The right tackle.
Yeah, Fuaga, left tackle, they're playing him at. So Fuaga may turn into an absolute stud, who they drafted last year. But since 2018, the only Pro Bowl player they've drafted is Eric McCoy. So the Saints have not drafted a ton. Their best players, Trey Hendrickson's went to another team. Zach Bond, was a Defensive Player of the Year finalist with another team. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with another team. So they don't have like these great young core guys. So you could make an argument that, they could use an edge rusher to eventually replace Cam Jordan and somebody to plug into that new 3-4 defense. I could make an argument cornerback that Paulson, Adebo, and Lattimore were the starters the last 3 years. They're gone. So they could use a cornerback. I could make an argument for wide receiver, tight end, interior offensive line.
Yeah, I was going to say Ramczyk just retired. O-line hadn't been very good lately, so they could use an offensive lineman for sure. Somebody that could start.
I would say a young offensive lineman, I think, is coming early in the draft. A cornerback, I think, is coming early in the draft.
Yep.
A wide receiver, maybe a tight end. Yeah. So
Saints have a lot of selections this year too, don't they?
Yes, and high value selections. They've got a pick in the first round, a pick in the second round, and then they have 2 third-round selections and 2 fourth-round selections.
Nice.
So a lot of serious value.
Yeah, that's what 6 in the first 4 rounds. That's good stuff. Fridays with Fletcher Mackel's with us from WDSU Channel 6 Sports. Thursday night, round 1 of the NFL draft. Thursday morning, they'll be teeing it up for real, weather, working out at the Zurich Classic, the annual PGA Tour stop. How great, how much of a boost. I mean, Rory McIlroy and Lowry winning it last year took the tournament to a new level. Them returning as defending champs, they agreed to do that within weeks of winning it last year. Like 11 months ago, they're like, we're returning. That's great all by itself. How much of a mega boost is it with them winning the Masters last week?
It was a huge boost. I mean, he didn't play this week in the Heritage, so he's showing up in New Orleans as the Masters champion. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, that's next level. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, look, last year there were record crowds following Rory around, which was unbelievable. And so I just think it's going to be, if the weather's good, it's going to be bigger and better than it was last year.
What do you think of the field in general this year? How are the pairings in your mind?
Good. I mean, look, there's a couple of guys I think they wish they would have gotten. Shoffley and Cantlay aren't here, which is a little bit of a bummer. But other than that, they've got a lot of, look, Wyndham Clark is here. He just won a U.S. Open. The Fitzpatrick brothers are here. Matt won the U.S. Open a few years ago. So, Colin Morikawa is the 4th-ranked player in the world who's been playing great. I think you've got some really great players in the field here, and then you've got some names people know, some throwback names, if you will, that the hardcore golfers are going to know, and that's good. And so, so I think the field is really strong. But look, having Rory is, I mean, you're talking about a guy who last weekend did something that only 6 people in it. He became the 6th person to win a career Grand Slam.
Yep.
I mean, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's considered one of the 5 greatest players in the history of the sport, and he's here in New Orleans, loving it and going for a chance to win again.
That solidified his legacy. He was, before that, it'd been a while since he'd won a major. He wasn't considered the best player. That just solidified his legacy as one of the all-time greats with the career Grand Slam gimmick. And it looks like he's, hungry to win another. Hey, you're running in the Crescent City Classic tomorrow morning?
I unfortunately am, yes.
How many times have you run in that thing?
This will be my 11th or 12th year doing it, yeah.
Yeah. I think Rob Masson over at Fox 8 is running every one.
Really? That's strong. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you can interview him. I'm sure the folks at Channel 6 would like that.
Yeah, I think we'll pass on interviewing him, but sure.
Yep. Hey, we got the Fox 8 guy on our competitor. Hey, man. All right, Fletch, have a good run. Stay hydrated.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Fletch. Fridays with Fletch. Love getting him on the program. Lots of opinions. Knows what he's talking about. Yeah. Cheer him on tomorrow on the route. He's running in the Crescent City Classic. You can run too. I think you can register till 7 o'clock tonight at the Hyatt in person, or you can go online and register. It starts tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. by the Dome.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Got a nice weather weekend. It's supposed to be a little cloudy, but no rain tomorrow or Sunday. Why don't you get over to Helm Paint and Decorating? Pick out your colors, high quality Benjamin Moore paint. Get all the supplies you need to knock out that paint project. In New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, Helm Paint and Decorating. I love the free 2-hour delivery because you can keep working. You or your crew can just keep going. They'll deliver it right to the job site. Yeah, when it's time to paint in Metro New Orleans or Metro Baton Rouge, do it once, do it right. Lifetime Benjamin Moore paint, Helm Paint and Decorating. That goes in the old no-brainer category. I've never bought paint from anywhere but Helm Paint and Decorating in my life as a New Orleanian. Never. I'm going to go to the big box store and you get some off-brand paint, or go to some national chain when I can go to the local guys. All they do is paint. And boy, are they pros. They know what they're talking about. I painted my house, went to Helm on Earhart. Chrissy Helm helped me pick out the color. I got a woman's touch. She knows what she's doing. Joey, Keith Main, they're like, go with Regal Select. Lifetime warranty. You'll never paint your house again. No, the painting pros. Happy Good Friday. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas. Happy Easter. Christians, I should say. Catholic. New Orleans, huge Catholic population. Yeah. You Christians out there, happy Easter and happy Good Friday. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. If you miss what we had going so far, you miss Fletcher Mackel talking about a lot of stuff. The Pelicans' new GM or new vice president of basketball operations. David Griffin out after 6 years. Joe Dumars in. Fletcher's opinion, Joe Dumars is going to trade Zion Williamson. I hope that's true. 6 years of nothing. And hope Zion Williamson is an all-star, someone else for 10 years. I don't wish him any ill will. But he hadn't got it done in New Orleans for 6 seasons. Averages 30 games a year out of 82. Misses 50-plus games a year on average. You can't have that anymore. Time to 86 that. Talked about the NFL draft. Saints select 9th. Fletcher's going with the dart kid out of Ole Miss, the quarterback. Zurich Classic starts Thursday. Rory McIlroy, the Masters champion, and his buddy Lowry, they're going to team up. They're the defending champs. Crescent City Classic tomorrow morning. We talked a little NBA playoffs. Fletcher's running in the Classic, 6.2 miles. Still time to register in person till 7 p.m. at the ballroom at the Hyatt Regency, or go online. They're going to sell out. They're 18,000 slots. They're going to sell out. You want to run in it, go online and register now. LSU Gymnastics, the defending national champs, get bumped. UCLA and Utah will go at it for the national championship. I think LSU Gymnastics going to finish third overall. Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Coming up in the 5 o'clock power hour. Yeah, you right. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. I think the 2 finalists from the Sewage and Water Board, one from Philly to run the Sewage and Water Board. Ghassan Corbin, by the way, leaving in the beginning of May. He will join us live on the program next week. We got a bunch of good guests next week on the program. Going to get Ghassan Corbin on the program tomorrow from the Sewage and Water Board. The finalists to replace him, one person from Philly and I think one from Minneapolis. That's so much better than Cedric Grant. Jacques Morial's going to run the Sewage and Water Board. I bet if you said that, Jacques Morial's going to run it, you'd have a bunch of people in New Orleans going, hooray, great, good for Jacques. It's like, what does he know about the Sewage and Water Board? I remember Mitch Landrieu's appointee, this appointed political hack, Cedric Grant. I mean, his resume is the back of my sheet, blank. He ran the Sewage and Water Board for Mitch Landrieu 15 years ago, a decade ago. I'm riding on the Lafitte Greenway. I stopped by that public pool right near Claiborne. It's got a plaque from the Morial administration when they redid the building, like in 1991. Cedric Grant's on that plaque, commissioner of do nothingness. I'm like, Jesus, man. 1991. This guy's for like 35, 40 years plus just been, sticking his rear end up politicians, sticking his head, up politicians' rear ends. I got it backwards. And just getting these appointed, anointed jobs year in, year out. He now makes $180 in retirement, $180,000 annually in retirement. It is sinful what we do in New Orleans and Louisiana. These hack politicians, these appointed, anointed hacks like Cedric Grant, blank resume, just a hack, a joker, pulling $180,000 a year in retirement. For 99% of the New Orleans population, it's inconceivable. Literally. $180,000 in retirement. What did he do to earn that? Zero, the big goose egg. Good news is, like Ghassan Corbin coming from Milwaukee, I rarely give LaToya Cantrell any praise because she does not deserve it. She doesn't deserve it. I don't do it because I dislike her. I give praise where it's due. She rarely gets it because it's rarely due. Hiring him was a good move. Milwaukee Water, Department, a professional in that industry, not Cedric Grant, not Jacques Morial or something insane like that. Bill Jefferson's daughter, that's just crazy. No expertise. No, we'll talk to Michael Hecht about that. World War II Museum keeps expanding. I know Michael's got some good economic news. We'll talk about Neptune Pass at the river, the Mid-Barataria Diversion Project, IV waste contract in the French Quarter, the controversial Walk of Fame. Can you believe the Walk of Fame that the mayor put herself on? They now want $35,000 from the people that they say win, that the winners, the people they elect, the people that are nominated and win. Hey, we're going to put you on the Walk of Fame. We need a check for $35,000. What's that, Blue Boy? That's absolutely insane. You should be on the Walk of Fame in New Orleans. Blue Boy, I agree. You're world famous. Smart call. Uh-oh. I think I'm going to sneeze. I did. Normally, when you say you're going to sneeze, you don't. But on radio and television, it works the other way. You do sneeze. Corey Johnson with you. Don't move.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at Nola Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Good boy.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. I By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good, and we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Mr. Drew Brees. It is New Orleans. Thank you, Drew Brees. You're right on the money. 5 o'clock power hour on a Fantasy Friday. Yeah, you're right.
You know what that means, huh? A little bit after 5 o'clock. Toot, toot. We blow the 5 o'clock whistle. Toot, toot. We love blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. We recognize this very moment of the week, a little bit after 5 p.m. on a Friday. You know why we put the spotlight on this very time? Because 100% of the work week for most of us in the books. And 100% of this glorious weekend is in front of us. You know, I savor this time because, you know, the weekend's quick. All of a sudden it'll be Sunday night. And you're like, damn, that was fast. I was just talking about Friday. I got work tomorrow. Got another week in front of me. So I like savoring this moment. The 5 o'clock whistle, putting the spotlight on this very moment a little after 5 o'clock on a Friday, appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City, as New Orleans as it gets. And with the weather we're having right now, outdoor dining at Katie's. They got tables going down the side of the building on Iberville. They got tables going down the side of the building on Telemachus. Yeah, you know where Angelo Bricato's ice cream joint is? Katie's is about 2 blocks behind that, 3 blocks behind that. In Mid-City, Katie's, big New Orleans portions, great New Orleans specialties. You never know what Scott Craig's going to bring into Katie's tonight. Soft shell crabs, flounder, pompano, trout, snapper. You never know. Katie's in Mid-City. Outdoor dining at Katie's in Mid-City. The 5 o'clock whistle every Friday, appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Be there. You know, we got Jazz Fest coming up this weekend. Next week, Thursday, not this weekend, next week. And the week after, weekend number 2 of Jazz Fest. Katie's is a great place. Before, after Jazz Fest. Convenient, not too far from the Jazz Fest. Katie's in Mid-City. Happy Good Friday, you Christians, you Catholics in New Orleans. Happy Easter Sunday. Happy Easter weekend. I know a lot of New Orleanians as we speak, beelining east, heading down the I-10, going to the Gulf Coast, Mississippi, heading to South Alabama beaches, heading to the Florida Panhandle. Be careful. Thanks for tuning us in. Thanks for taking us on the road with you on this Fantasy Friday edition of the program. A lot of folks might be participating in the Crescent City Classic tomorrow. 18,000 strong. Runners and walkers, starting at the Dome, going through the quarter, down Esplanade, finishing at City Park, at Noma, at the museum, and then right over the old South Golf Course, big party, parade ground, the after party. And if you don't run and you just want to go enjoy a festival, for just a few bucks, they'll put a little, you know, loop on your hand, on your wrist, and you can go on in. I think that's it, either that or something around your neck, wristband, or one of those little, you know, strings around your neck with a little pass on the bottom of it. Anyway, you can go check it out tomorrow at City Park. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc.'s going to join us in a few minutes with some good economic news, I hope. That segment always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant in Elmwood. They are hiring. They also have a North Shore facility, so you North Shore folks don't have to make the commute every day. Just beeline down I-12. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrim.com. Latrim is spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. That's J.M. LePaire's middle name spelled backwards. His middle name was Marshall. Corey Johnson with you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. My goodness, we had so much going on this week, and kind of under the radar week when it comes to news. I mean, first off, back on Monday, the legislative session cranked up, and it's a lot of insurance and injury attorneys. We'll see where that goes. We'll see if there's any legitimacy to all the talk. You know, they're talking the talk. They're going to walk the walk, or we're finally going to put the choke chain on these injury attorneys that advertise, these over-the-top advertisements. We know the statistics now. we get in the same percentage of car accidents, percentage of population per capita as the rest of America. The damage to the vehicles, obviously, the same like the rest of America. Yet we have 2 times the claims as the rest of America. These overt injury attorneys, these hack injury attorneys, they don't know a courtroom. They're not passionate about the law. They probably all just scraped through law school. These aren't legal geniuses. None of them. None of them. These overt advertisers on television, on radio, on billboards, it's obnoxious. It sends out the wrong message. Sue, sue, sue. And we have the same amount of wrecks, yet we have twice the lawsuits. There's a video I had earlier in the week. I guess it was actually the end of last week, I'm thinking. Well, let me see. When did I have our Corey on? Yeah, I guess it was late last week. Trying to see. I had on local attorney Blake Arcuri. That was last Thursday. Blake Arcuri. Go to his website, ARCURI. Go to his Twitter, Blake Arcuri. He posts a video, and it happens to be Morris Bart, but this is exactly what Morris Bart and all these, Dudley DeBosier, this is what they're about. There's a video, and it is obnoxious as hell. You got to check it out. You go to my Twitter, @Corey Johnson, and check it out. It's posted there. But Blake Arcuri's got the video. A policeman pulls over somebody in like an F-150 or a Silverado pickup. The dash cam shows the video from the cop car. So you see the cop car, the windshield, the trunk, and the vehicle, the F-150 or Silverado truck stopped in front, and the policeman at the window talking to the driver, writing him a ticket, finding out what's up, asking for insurance, whatever. All of a sudden, you see the police cruiser start creeping up. Like, it's about a 5-foot gap between the cruiser and the truck. Creeps up and it taps the back of the truck. The truck's in park. So the truck, moves a little, but nothing, just a tap. The policeman, sees the truck move. He's like, oh my God, realizes his cruiser's in drive, where it rolled forward. Like, I don't know how long he was at the window of the vehicle he pulled over before it rolled forward. That video, you watch that. I mean, I'm laughing because the cruiser tapped the truck. That person hired Morris Bart. Morris Bart wants $1.5 million for injuries suffered in that bumper tap. $1.5 million. Morris Bart would walk with $600,000 on that single case alone. No wonder he's got $1 billion in claims. No wonder he lives on Audubon Place. No wonder he's very wealthy. Because Morris Bart and a lot of lawyers like him, they embrace the sleaze. These folks that first they push the buttons. Hey, come on, let's sue. So some of their clients, legitimate injuries. I think a lot of their clients, I know a lot of their clients, they are at least exaggerating or embellishing the extent of their injuries, or worse, outright lying. Then Morris Bart and these law firms have doctors that just green light all this crap. And then the insurance companies settle cheaper than going to court. And we pay a lot more for car insurance. And that's just one example, auto insurance. It's across the board. It's obnoxious. These injury attorneys are obnoxious. A choke chain needs to be put on them. So the legislative session has a lot of that this year. Let's see if they talk the talk and actually walk the walk. I should say they're talking the talk. Let's see if they walk the walk and curb this obnoxious advertising. Same amount of wrecks, same amount of damage, 2 times the claims. It's because these lawyers are in our face all the time. All the time. There were 30 commercial breaks in Channel 6's news at 4 o'clock last week. And fixnola.com, another Twitter account you can check out, they posted of the 30 breaks, I think it was 18 of them were law firms, local injury law firms. It's obnoxious. It's in our face constantly. Television, radio, billboards. I love when I see the single pole billboard. It's, a single pole with 2 billboards on it. And it's both law firms. competing law firms. I pay for a billboard. I don't want the competition on the billboard with me. Do you? There's so many law firms advertising. These billboard companies don't have a choice. Let's see what the legislative session, what these legislators do to bring in the injury attorneys.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you, 5 o'clock powwow. Happy Good Friday. Happy Easter weekend. Boy, a big week. A lot of stuff going on. The legislative session starting, and I'm hoping and praying we, reel in those obnoxious attorneys that jack up our insurance rates. I brought up just two examples. A guy used to run the controls of my show, Salt Lake City, very similar in size to New Orleans and the Metro. His insurance for every month for his car, $80. In New Orleans, $280. $80 in Salt Lake City, $280 in New Orleans. Got a friend who has a house in New Orleans and Birmingham, Alabama. He has an SUV. $3,400 a year to insure it in New Orleans. $3,400 a year. In Birmingham, Alabama, $1,100 for the year. Same insurance, same policy, same coverage. Obnoxious. Same amount of accidents, same amount of damage, yet we have 2 times the claims. Either Louisiana people are frail and made of glass and get injured easily, or there is an obnoxious amount of radio, television, and billboard injury attorney advertising that pushes folks to sue. And if you watch the video I mentioned at Corey Johnson on my Twitter that Blake R. Curry posted on his Twitter, his ex, whatever, the vehicle tapping the other vehicle and Morris Bart suing for $1.5 million. That says it all. This person in the vehicle didn't crack a fingernail and is suing for $1.5 million. You watch the video, it'll disgust you. It'll disgust you. It's sickening. And Morris Bart and these lawyers do not give a crap. They are money hungry. They sold out decades ago. They don't give a crap about the criticism. They love the money. They will continue to go after the money, and they will continue to justify their behavior. They'll claim that they're like a client, like it's a legitimate claim, and they just run in that direction when they all know it's BS. No, that's what selling out. Morris Bart and these folks sold out decades and decades and decades ago. And I know people in New Orleans that know Morris Bart. Buddy Bart, he's a good guy. I'm sure he is. I'm sure John Hilario's a good guy. I'm sure Edwin Edwards at a crawfish boil was a great guy. But these folks are deviants in reality. Morris Bart's like this good guy, friendly guy, Pelicans, billboard friendly face, smiling. And he takes pennies and dollars out of each and every one of our pockets every single day. It's obnoxious. Him and his injury attorney advertising buddies. It's obnoxious. It's got to stop. Hopefully it will. And Morris Bart on Twitter, won't shut up. I haven't heard an insurance company that's going to lower their rate. Show me when insurance company is going to lower the rate. He knows it doesn't work that way. What's going to happen is if you have the regular amount of claims, not twice as much as the rest of the country, the rates will stabilize and they won't continue to go up. They'll stabilize. They'll mirror the rest of the country eventually. Once the insurance companies get their footing in Louisiana with the new rules and go, wow, claims are cut in half in Louisiana now. Claims are cut in half. They're more like the national average. There'll be insurance companies flocking to Louisiana to write policies, not leaving because they can't make money. The injury attorneys, it's a scam. These advertising injury attorneys. It's time to reel them in. It's obnoxious. Their behavior has been accepted for decades. I've been bitching and complaining about it for decades. Finally, there's some momentum, Now, Jeff Landry should be slightly ashamed of himself when he says, I'm sick of seeing Morris Bart, and I'm sick of seeing the lizard, I think he said. You're talking about Geico. The injury attorneys that advertise and insurance companies are not equal and opposites. The problems aren't the same. There's a chicken and egg thing. It's the double the claims that causes the insurance companies to increase their rates. And I'm not trying to take up for the insurance companies. A lot of them need to be straightened out. Our insurance commissioner, who will be joining us, Tim Temple, on the program Tuesday of next week. We'll talk with him, talk about all of this and having more power like the other southern states where they can, demand these insurance companies lower their rates, things of that nature. Yeah, you don't want to miss that Tuesday. Tim Temple, Commissioner of Insurance, State of Louisiana, joining us live. Hey, on Sunday, a lot of folks are freaking out on social media like it's racist. Now, I've driven by this area my entire life. I grew up by this area. for like the last 30 years. I don't care if it's white people or black people, whatever group of people show up at Lakeshore Drive by Franklin and have crawfish and do whatever, they tend to leave all their crap out there. Food, crawfish tails, and justify it by like piling everything up by the garbage can and then, okay, that area is full, and then just leaving it by the tables and all over the place. Levee board has to come in and just clean that area up. It's filthy. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. So maybe lately it's been a lot of black people out there. I don't know, but I've known it to be black and white. I've driven by and seen it on Sunday and gone, wow, I wonder what it's going to look like tomorrow. And then I drive by there on Monday. I'm like, oh, that's what it looks like. So Easter Sunday on Lakeshore Drive and increased security measures. There's going to be 8 barricaded checkpoints from the Seabrook Bridge to West End on Lakeshore Drive. They're targeting speeders. They're targeting noise, folks that are cranking up the stereo too loud. They're targeting seatbelt use, not using your seatbelt. The tint of your windows being too dark. License plate violations. And most importantly, litter and trash. Folks are freaking out like, wow, this is something racist. I don't know. They're going from the Seabrook Bridge all the way to West End. So if you go drive up and down there Easter Sunday, I think you will see a gumbo of people. Groups of black folks, groups of white folks, groups of Latinos, groups of mixed where it's black, white, and Latino. You'll see that all up and down Lakeshore Drive from West End to the Seabrook Bridge. So I don't know about you. Maybe I'm a fuddy-duddy. Like I complain about fireworks, but I'm not like, hey, get rid of them. Well, yes, I am like, let's get rid of them actually. But I'm not like freaking out that they're legal. Just don't like them. A lot of noise. My dog freaks out. It's like a personal thing. And then there's litter and trash all over the place. But 8 barricaded checkpoints targeting speeders. You don't want with the people walking around. You don't want people showing off their car and hitting 40, 50, 60, 70 miles an hour on Lakeshore Drive when it's a 35 for most of it. And then by Canal Boulevard, it's 25, I believe, to West End. Noise. People on three-wheelers or not three-wheelers, but the three-wheel motorcycle vehicle, street legal. Or just their vehicles, their trucks, their SUVs, their cars, cranking up the stereo so loud you can hear it for blocks. No, that should be curbed as well. I don't want to hear all that crap. Seatbelt use, that's just the law. Dark tint, no, dark tint's obnoxious. Can't even see it. I'll be letting someone in on a intersection. I don't even know if they see me or not. License plate violations, littering, trash. I really don't see the problem. If I were going to meet people out on Lakeshore Drive and drink and eat crawfish and have fun, having 8 barricaded checkpoints, a police presence, focusing in on speeders, noise, seatbelt use, dark tint, license plate violations, and litterers, why would anyone going out there have any sort of a problem with that? The only people that would have a problem are people that, man, we like going out there and just leaving the crap out there. I don't want to pick up my crawfish tails. Let someone else pick it up. I haven't had a legal license plate in years. Well, that's a problem. The tint's dark because I don't want you seeing me. I don't wear my seatbelt. I like cranking up the stereo where everyone hears it. I'm going deaf. And I like speeding up and down Lakeshore Drive when a bunch of people are walking around. Who would have a problem with any of that? Who would have a problem with any of that? I'll tell you what people have a problem with, this New Orleans Walk of Fame. Unbelievable. Mayor Cantrell, Master P, just ready, fire, aim. Half-cocked, worse, with an agenda. The first 50 people they came up with, maybe 20 to 25 are legit. Of the other 25, a dozen of them maybe down the road when you've got a few hundred people in the Walk of Fame, but not the first 50. And then there's at least a dozen that do not deserve to be on it ever. Like the mayor herself. And Master P puts himself on it right away. when he's on the committee, when he's part of it. They go to the city council, they request $500,000, $500,000, and they want it out of the Wisner Fund. Like they mentioned that specifically. It's like, my God, what an agenda the mayor has with this Walk of Fame that she put herself on it. Here's the crazy part. All the council says is, we're not giving you the money. We want to see your budgets. We want to see how the nomination process works and your overall operations. And Master P and the mayor freak out. The crazy part, their plan, they want the $500,000 from the city council, and then anyone that's nominated and wins, the winners need to come up with $35,000. Hey, you won. We're putting you in the Walk of Fame. By the way, write me a check for $35,000. Have you ever heard of something so ridiculous? And did the mayor pay $35,000, please? Just, it doesn't stop with LaToya, the Destroyer Cantrell, Junket Cantrell. Just narcissistic, egomaniacal, sort of a sociopath, and drinks too much in public. I've seen it not once but twice where she's drinking too much in public. Lady, you need to check yourself.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex,
Tell 'em,
there's something
Ronnie.
called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments,
struts.
servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Go check it out. Telling you, sick week. A lot of stuff going on. I love talk radio. I love talk television. New Orleans is like New York, LA, Chicago with news, politics. It's endless. Like the legislative session, these injury attorneys trying to reel them in and get lower insurance rates. The Walk of Fame. The controversy there with Junket Cantrell, $500,000 from the city council with just give us the money. We're not telling you what we're using it for. And then future winners, they want $35,000 from them. You win, you're going to be on the Walk of Fame, and then they ask you for a check. Hey, congratulations, you won. Write a check for $35,000. $35,000, just crazy. Ready, fire, aim. Just nutty how this mayor thinks. Nutty. If that wasn't enough, the mayor terminates the IV waste contract. It was an emergency contract. First, there's a French Quarter contract, a trash contract. Troy Henry, who doesn't own a trash company, wins the contract. It's 8 years, $73 million to keep the French Quarter clean and part of the CBD. Since he doesn't own a trash company, he subs it out to Richard's Disposal, a local company that is a trash company that does own trucks that did not want to bid on the French Quarter contract. They didn't even bid on it. Weren't interested. Yet they're going to be the company cleaning the quarter, the one that wasn't interested. Troy Henry wins it. But then in December, Troy Henry and Richards get into a feud where it's public. And now Richards is no longer going to be the subcontractor. Literally, Richards sues Troy Henry. Troy Henry countersues Richard. So if you're the city of New Orleans, what choice do you have but to 86 this deal? Troy Henry scrambles, finds another company, I think Waste Pro. They don't own any trucks. So Troy Henry, who wins the contract, would be subbing out to Waste Pro, who would sub it out to a company that owns trucks. So the city says enough's enough. They nix the deal, and they throw out an emergency contract for a year, December to December, December 24 to December 25. Ivy Waste, Sidney Torres wins it. They go into the quarter immediately and start cleaning it above and beyond what the contract calls for. 2 days a week, pressure washing sidewalks. They do it 7 days a week. The lemon fresh scent, just doing a better job than any previous person except the old IV Waste, whatever, SDT, when they had the lemon scent a decade earlier. So everyone's happy about it, except the mayor and Troy Henry, I guess. The mayor says, we're canceling the contract with IV Waste in 90 days. It won't run through December. And then Troy Henry takes over with the 8-year, $73 million deal. Now, I had Billy Nungesser on the show yesterday, 5 o'clock powwow. You can go to the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube and check out the Billy Nungesser interview. He's pissed. He's livid. He says there's some French Quarter business owners and residents that are like, change this trash contract. We're done. We're out of here. Quarter's never been cleaner, never looked better. My suggestion, and Billy Nungesser said, yeah, that's a great suggestion, and I think that's how it was going to go down. In December, when IV Waste emergency contract's about to expire, before that, the fall of this year, they'll rebid for the long-term deal. Troy Henry can bid, IV Waste can bid, and you want it at the standard that IV Waste is delivering right now with the 7 days a week pressure washing, not twice, and the lemon fresh scent and all of the other things they do above and beyond. Taking pride in their work, realizing the French Quarter's special. It's not just another contract to make money. So the mayor terminating that, Billy Nungesser freaking out, French Quarter folks freaking out, and understandably so. It was pretty much working pretty well. Hey, speaking of mayors, the mayor's race is going to heat up soon. We will elect a mayor potentially in October if, one of these folks get more than 50%. At the worst, November of this year, we'll have a new mayor. We'll know who it is. In January, they'll get sworn in. In the first 3 months of 2025, Helena Moreno has raised $900,000. In the first 3 months of 2025, Oliver Thomas has raised $90,000. So each and every day of this year, on average, Helena Moreno raises $10,000 a day. Every day of 2025 so far, on average, Helena Moreno raises $10,000 a day. And Oliver Thomas raises $1,000 a day on average. Literally 10 times as much. Helena Moreno, about 1.5 million. Oliver Thomas, about $300,000. The most money doesn't always win, but I would say Helena Moreno the favorite, but that's just the money they have right now. Boy, I can't wait to see what Bill Maher says tonight. I might watch it tonight. I might check it out on social media tomorrow, the clip, but it's inevitable. It is inevitable. He's going to do the same thing I did on Wednesday. He's going to do it tonight for sure. I would bet on it. He's going to say, what the hell's wrong with Gayle King? Who is Gayle King kidding? The CBS morning anchor. Just so out of touch. Her space travel comments were comical earlier in the week. It wasn't a ride. It was a flight. We took the same trajectory as Alan Shepard. I'm an astronaut. All this stuff. It was 11 minutes from blast off to touchdown back to Earth. 11 minutes. In space, 3.5 minutes total time. And space, by the way, 62 miles up. 62 miles up. Not like in the Earth's orbit, just 62 miles up, which is the point that scientists generally recognize where you're kind of leaving the Earth's atmosphere and starting to enter space. 62 miles up. So, yeah, Gayle King needs to relax. I'm not saying it wasn't life, something you remember the rest of your life changing even potentially. You're in a rocket ship getting blasted off into space, 62 miles up and coming back down. 11 minutes long from start to finish, 3.5 minutes in space. Did you really say you're an astronaut? Were you really comparing yourself to Alan Shepard, a real astronaut? And it was a ride. It wasn't a space flight. Just relax already, Gayle King. Yeah, guaranteed tonight, Bill Maher is going to abuse Gayle King. And she says she deserves it. She deserves it. Boy, a great article. I had the writer of the article, Mike Smith, on the show yesterday, environmental reporter, editor for the Times-Picayune, on this cut in the river, Neptune Pass, that just continues to grow and grow land. A new delta. It's significant. 15% of the Mississippi going through this Neptune Pass. And the Army Corps originally was going to block it off with rocks because they have to dredge that area of the river more now. The sediment's settling there, and commercial ship traffic can't pass through. If I'm the Army Corps of Engineers and their responsibility is to keep the river dredged so ship traffic can go in and out. I'm not denying that. But if I'm the Army Corps, part of their goals or, mission statement is coastal Louisiana. If I've got to dredge because the river's creating land, I would be happy to be dredging. The millions of dollars spent dredging dwarf what it would cost for man to build what Neptune Pass is building naturally. Right now, Neptune Pass, with 15% of the Mississippi River flowing through it down at the Mississippi Delta near the Gulf, it's the 10th largest river in America. It's the 100th largest in the world, the pass, Neptune Pass, that's growing land. Now, I had Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser on the program yesterday at 5, about 40 minutes into the YouTube broadcast from yesterday. If you go to the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson, my YouTube channel, and check it out. No, we talked to Billy primarily about the IV waste contract. being canceled in the quarter, and he's pissed. But also a disagreement. He's for the governor canceling or pausing the Mid-Barataria sediment diversion project. And I am 100% in disagreement with him. I am totally for it. It has been studied for 20 years. Republicans and Democrats are for it. It's got bipartisan support, scientists backing it up, the Army Corps, so much bureaucracy and red tape, 20 years in the making. And then we get the funds, BP oil disaster, $3 billion, build it. I would clearly say if folks were educated on both sides, listen to Billy's arguments, listen to my arguments, had experts verify, I think the clear majority of Plaquemine Parish residents would be for it. It's going to help them with flood protection. What this boils down to, in my opinion, a handful of oystermen, a handful of fishermen, and their short-sightedness. They're the experts that could tell you, my great-grandfather was here, there used to be land here. Well, when your great-grandson's here, you want land again, not open water like it is. Would the fisheries be affected? Yes. There's $375 million to compensate these few dozen oystermen and few dozen fishermen and some other folks in Plaquemine that might be adversely affected by it. The fisheries are just going to move farther out. They're going to change. It's going to be like it was originally. And then when these fishermen and oystermen want to bring up the dolphin, if the dolphin were killing their fishing, they'd want to kill the dolphin. So don't be green and all hyper liberal and bring up saving the dolphin on me. You know, that Barataria Bay is going to return to mostly fresh water like it was 50, 75 years ago. There were no dolphin there when there was land there and it was fresh water. The reason they're dolphin there is because there's brackish, you know. It's enough for them to live there. No, move the dolphin out and clear the area. Get it ready for the Mid-Barataria sediment diversion project. No, it's a shame that is being stopped. Neptune Pass proves it works. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Total payments, TM-JC.com, no cool smiles. TM-JC.com, no cool smiles.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. Next week, I'm going to get Blake Miguez on, state rep. He's all over these injury attorneys. See what he says, see what he thinks the chances of this legislation getting through. Also, next week, Tim Temple, Commissioner of Insurance, will join us on Tuesday. You don't want to miss that. And I'm going to get Slidell State Rep Stephanie Baralt on the program next week. This is great news, St. Tammany. I've been pounding this drum, beating on this drum for a decade plus. It's great news for the North Shore. And it's a start. State Rep Stephanie Baralt's putting legislation out there that would put St. Tammany on the list of parishes that can have or establish an office of Inspector General. Such a key, important thing for St. Tammany. 250,000 plus people. A lot of public projects going on. Probably the most affluent state. Lots of roads, sewage, all kind of public projects going on. Lots of expansion. So St. Tammany Parish residents, their tax dollars are being spent at an astronomical rate, because there's a lot of tax dollars and there's a lot of need for infrastructure improvements. The problem is it's, Metro New Orleans, Louisiana politicians spending that money. The great thing about an office of Inspector General, first and foremost, it's like a CPA. They go in and they scrutinize the books. Wow, y'all are spending this money on this. You're only getting 90 cents on the dollar. You could do it more effectively, more efficiently if you implement this. So it's making sure our money, our taxpayer money, in this case, St. Tammany residents, that their taxpayer money is being accounted for. Who would be against that? And then a lot of the time it leads to corruption and criminal activity where literally the tax dollars are being stolen by politicians or contractors or individuals. So there's no downside to an office of Inspector General, especially in an affluent, booming parish like St. Tammany with so many tax dollars being spent on public projects. You want that scrutinized. So the great news, I can't believe there's a list in Louisiana. It seems like any parish, any municipality that wants an Inspector General, go ahead and green light it. The St. Tammany, the legislation simply puts St. Tammany on the list of parishes that can establish an office of Inspector General. Then the next step is, once that's done, hey, St. Tammany, the state says you can have an OIG. The St. Tammany Parish Council would have to vote on it and vote for the IG. And then once they do that and hopefully vote on that, then it goes to the citizens of St. Tammany on the ballot. They literally have to go vote
for an office of inspector general to be established. Now, here's something, and I'm just telling you, do the research if you don't believe me. I mean, why would I be hyping New Orleans if it weren't true? I tell it like it is. I don't lie. I don't exaggerate. I don't have favorites. I don't have an agenda. The Office of Inspector General in New Orleans, the office itself, it was set up properly. Bob Sarasoli set it up post-Katrina 20 years ago, 19 years ago, and knew about New Orleans and the crazy politicians and Louisiana's rep. This office has autonomy. The mayor, the New Orleans City Council, they can't mess with the New Orleans Office of Inspector General. Their budget is set in the city budget. It can't be altered by the council. So that's great. Autonomy and the strength to do their job. And then that doesn't guarantee anything. Do nothing. Derry Harper, the IG before this one, was pathetic. Basically got let go because he never showed up to work, never did any audits, investigations, none of it. It was pathetic. Now you have Ed Michel, cut out of the same cloth as the guy who established the office, Boston's Bob Sarasoli. Ed Michel is a tenacious pit bull. They just renewed his contract to the Ethics Review Board for 4 more years. That's a great thing. That office has autonomy and strength. Right next door, Jefferson Parish has an office of inspector general. The office is pathetically weak how it's set up. The Jefferson Parish Council, the Jefferson Parish president, they can control the office, reduce the budget, change the budget, vote on if they have investigative, investigative authority or not. It's pathetic. It's controlled by politics. The very group that the Office of Inspector General is supposed to look at. So Kim Chatelain's office in Jefferson Parish is set up in a weak way. It's sad. New Orleans' office is strong. So St. Tammany, make sure you get an office that's set up like New Orleans where the politicians have no control over it. You don't want the inmates running the asylum. You want this autonomous, independent group being able to go after the politicians, the contractors, all of that stuff. Be able to scrutinize the spending. That's it. It's not some agenda-driven political agenda. Let's go after black or white or Republican or Democrat. You get someone like Ed Michel, apolitical, just a pit bull, a watchdog, something needed. No, great news, St. Tammany. Keep your fingers crossed the legislation passes. I don't know why it wouldn't. Keep your fingers crossed you don't have like A.G. Crow folks on the St. Tammany Council that will, they don't want that IG. And then make sure when it does get on a ballot, you vote for it. That, I guarantee you, an IG in St. Tammany, in the first year of operation, they will save money that is an annual expenditure. Like, hey, the so-and-so office spends $10 million a year on this. They could do it for like $8 million. They're going to save that money, and it literally will pay for the office forever. But that's just the first year. Every year they will come up with savings. It'll be tens of millions of dollars. It'll eventually exceed $100 million. And it's all the time, every year being saved. So no, great news. I told you a lot going on. St. Tammany might get an IG. The mayor wants to cancel the French Quarter IV waste trash contract. The legislative session. Get insurance rates down, go after the injury attorneys, enhance police presence on Easter Sunday on Lakeshore Drive, the controversial Walk of Fame, and, of course, Gail King thinking she's an astronaut. What a week. What's that, Blue Boy? Tell everybody have a great Easter weekend. We'll see you Monday, straight up 4 o'clock. See you then, New Orleans.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.
Yes, it is.